Hello everyone and welcome back to the MMO class. We're continuing on with a brand new section. This section will be over the creation of a custom language that Nelson has been putting together called CGS, standing for Cascading GUI Sheets, which is heavily based off of CSS, for those of you that are familiar with it from the web development world, which is Cascading Style Sheets. CGS is a very, very powerful and flexible language that allows us to quickly go in and custom our GUI styles with no pain whatsoever. And you guys are going to see how to put the entire thing together. Now, we're going to be approaching this as a video series about parsing, because Nelson did not want to lock you into the idea of, look, we're just creating this one language. Instead, we're wanting to make sure that everything that is presented to you is generic enough while we progress through the creation of CGS in front of you. But we want to make sure it's generic enough that you can then take and apply the concepts that you've learned through lexing, parsing, etc. to your own types of custom languages. Plus, we will also be using the things that you're going to learn here later on in the MMO class as well for some of our in-game programming languages that we're planning on developing. So while we may have been absent from the video category section in the MMO class for a little while now, I just wanted to let you guys know that there has been a lot of work going on. Instead of doing some of the smaller R&D then record, record, Nelson and I took a look back at the terrain video section, and there has been a tremendous amount of redos, if you will. And this time around, we just wanted to make sure that we had everything nice and fine-tuned to our liking, and basically, we step in and we record a series of educational videos for you guys on how we went about putting this together, and then we'll have a system that we can use, and you guys will not have to worry about redesigning over and over and over. Now, we will be coming back to terrain a little bit later on. We're going to be addressing that from a bit of a different angle, just again, as time progresses and we reevaluate how we want to handle certain systems and come up with better ideas. And we've got some different things that we would like to do a little playing around with. But for this series right here, we're going to be taking a look at putting together the CGS language. But the primary focus, though, is going to be parsing. We really want to make sure that we're generic enough so that everyone is able to take what is taught and apply it to their own languages, as has already been said. So with that, let me go ahead and hand this over to Nelson for a second to talk about what it is we're going to be seeing throughout this video series.
All right, so the video series is going to be broken into three parts. The first part is the introduction to parsing. This is where we're going to build out a fully functional, or mostly functional but not buggy, implementation of CGS, or a CGS parser, just using C#, using no additional tools. And we'll go into how to do that by hand, which is a very, very important skill, especially when moving on into the second part of the series, which is going to be an introduction to Antler. Antler is a language recognition tool that can be used to generate parsers, lexers, and tree grammars for you if you supply it with the proper input, depending on what kind of language you're trying to write. It provides a special DSL or domain-specific language that once you learn, you'll be able to quickly and effectively instruct it about the grammar of whatever language that you're parsing. The third part of this series is going to actually be building CGS, and we are going to be using Antler to build CGS, and then in addition to that, we're going to go ahead and integrate into Unity, talk about texture generation, how to get GUI styles and CGS styles to play nicely together, and so on. Now, like you see right here, so the first part, the end result, is just a CGS parser. That's the deliverable at the end. It won't have any functionality besides the massive amounts of, obviously the parsing part is going to be the biggest part, but it's not going to actually output into anything because that's irrelevant to that series. The second part, we're actually going to be building a scripting language using Antler that compiles into IL, which is the same language that C# compiles into. And that's going to basically allow us to write a entire functional scripting language and compile it into executables that you can run on the .NET framework. And of course, the deliverable at the end of CGS the third part of the series, is going to be a fully functional CGS system. And of course, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things near the end about how to package up libraries, deploy them to Unity, dealing with basic intro to build systems and fun stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting series without a doubt. So very much looking forward to us getting into it. Now, I wanted to point out real quick, for those of you that have not been keeping up with things that we've posted on the forums or Facebook or over on YouTube, the next video that's coming up is a video that was based off of a live presentation that Nelson gave during a webinar during one of the 3D Buzz Live radio shows about a week and a half or so ago that showcased what CGS could do. And then after the radio show, since of course not everybody from 3D Buzz was able to attend live, we re-recorded that presentation and we put the video up on both 3D Buzz, Facebook, and YouTube. So the next video in this series here will be that video. So you can just skip right over it if you have already seen it. And if not, watch that video. That's going to give you a good idea of what it is that we're going to be putting together and why it was something that was very important for us to have. And then from there, we're going to jump right into an introduction to parsing. So Nelson, unless there's anything else that you want to add, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up to get this series kicked off.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much, and we will see you in the next video.